It's the Riot Podcast. Good Monday, April 24th to you. Question that's kind of related to something that we talked about in the podcast today. If you had to choose a last name to go with your first name, you could change your last name to anything you want.
Ooh, what would it be?
But you can't change your first name. What would your last name be?
That's such a big question. I mean, you don't possibly think that I'm just over here going, I really wish.
I think you can come with a good one.
I have a last name that I've been waiting on.
I feel like, isn't that what little girls sit around and dream of?
No.
Changing their last name?
No, I don't think so. Which in this story is funny because we talk about, it's not a trend, but it was trending that a lady got married. And so her first and last name are the same.
Yeah.
And she was saying how she just is more traditional, so she wouldn't think of not having her husband's last name, whereas everybody else is like, why would you want the same names? But, you know, this is her.
So what's yours, Isaiah?
I don't know if I have one.
You don't think you do?
I don't think I have one.
You don't have a perfect last name in mind?
I don't know. I like my last name. I think it goes well with my first name.
But we're not going to say the last names on air.
I think mine would be Bossa Nova.
Oh, there
Bossa
you
Nova?
go.
Hudson Bossa Nova.
Well, it does
Sounds
have a
kinda-
ring to it.
Doesn't that sound real cool?
That sounds kind of Slovakian.
Yeah.
Slovakian, huh?
I think so.
Okay.
That's the country I came up with.
I mean, it sounds very important, more European or something, and you sounds not royal, but just maybe like more important than the average person.
I was trying to think if I could come up with ones for you guys.
For our last names. No, what I want to do though is the last name that I married into is a town in Italy.
Oh.
And I want to go there and like check into the hotel and they'd be like, oh, Mrs. Such and Such.
I feel like they wouldn't make as much of a deal out of it.
No, I want them to, because then I think...
You hear the little accent she tried to do? Did you hear that? Is that the accent of the city?
I don't even know.
That's what Italians sound like to
No,
you?
but I think they would be brought up, don't you think?
I think it would be brought up. I think they would say, oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's a good
Ma'am,
question.
here's your keys. Go away.
If I found a town with there's definitely a town with my same last name. If I checked into a hotel there, I feel like they wouldn't care.
They wouldn't even bother.
Yeah, I think Nikki's is kind of unique, so
I thought
I think it could be cool.
I thought they'd give me a crown or something and be like, oh, it's our long lost
They'd give me some sort of a
royalty.
gift.
Yeah, maybe the comp the room,
It makes
something
sense.
like that.
It makes sense to
Well,
me.
now everybody knows Nikki's last name is Milan.
Nikki Rome. It's not.
We also talked about going off of that. People go on vacation. It's not what you think it's going to be. Sometimes it's not as great.
Exactly. If Nikki goes to her town in
That's what I'm
Italy,
thinking.
I'll be
they won't fawn
disappointed.
over her last name.
Well, I just want them to fawn over me.
Yeah.
But it's a study just showing that more people are more disappointed in vacations than I think we realize. So what can you do to not be disappointed?
Reduce your expectations.
There you go.
We'll see what the study says, don't we?
Yeah.
Wait and find out.
We also talked about a survey that found that playing an instrument makes you more attractive, but which instrument in specific will make you the sexiest?
I feel like if we do a morning full of surveys and studies and stuff,
Yeah.
we're just going to be disappointed. These
I
are all
know.
things about disappointment and how not good enough, all that.
What do you think is a hobby that could make you really attractive? Because I said that I don't think playing an instrument makes you that cool.
Just so
Yeah,
you
which
think,
we can't go back
and
on.
are we talking about someone who currently plays an instrument? Not because all of us went through
If I-
band.
yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah.
all had that.
If you invite me over and you're saying...
You can still play
I
your
can play
instrument.
whatever. You have it in your Tinder picture. You better be able to do it for me. You better be able to bust out that violin right then and there.
Okay.
How much do you need to be able to play, though? Because I can play the guitar, right?
Uh-huh.
But I can't, like, play the guitar. But I can play it. Because I took guitar classes for a while.
Can you play a song on it?
I can't play an entire song.
Then it
no
doesn't
way.
Okay,
count.
then no,
It
I don't
doesn't
think
count.
I don't think you're fooling
You know how
anybody.
hard it is to play a whole song.
Do you know
on
what
a
the tough
guitar?
one is though?
Which is why when you meet musicians, it's supposed to be impressive.
Very
Right.
impressive, yeah.
Mine is tough because I know how to play the drums.
Yeah.
Vaguely, but that'd be hard.
What
to,
does that even mean?
What? I mean, I taught
you
myself,
know,
but
you
I
and your
played
guitar?
actually.
Me and my guitar, it sounds like.
But I mean, I could still drum. But how could you, to a non-drummer, if you're playing the drums without a song going with it? How would they know if you're actually able to play or not?
Oh, for yeah, I guess for drums it's different. Where like if I play the guitar, you would know right away like
Right.
what song I'm playing.
Or not playing?
If that's the case. Well, be listening to find out. And if you do still play an instrument, that is impressive because none of us remember enough
Yeah. Wait, so did we want to do a sexy hobby real quick?
Oh,
go
a
for it.
sexy
Do you have
hobby?
one?
Yeah, what's
Do
a
you have
sexy
one?
hobby?
What if your hobby was like modeling?
There you go. That's a good hobby.
I think that's probably something like that,
Hmm.
or something uber athletic.
Yeah,
like
that's what
very
I was thinking,
athletic, so you're very
sports.
fit. I don't know.
I was gonna say like something along the lines of like embroidering,
Decoupage.
sewing,
Too much, too much.
anything like that. Cooking,
Probably-
boom, cooking.
That's
Yeah.
a good one. That's
Winner.
a perfect one.
Probably back in the 1920s, sewing would be a sexy hobby.
That would be an
You know?
amazing one.
There was probably pioneers being like, I wish I could just find a woman who sews.
That was marriage material.
That's right.
All you had to do was just say you could sew and cook.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if you could sew and cook, that was always the old school stuff.
Yeah.
Cooking, boom.
Mhm.
So if you have your picture and you're just cooking,
If you're
With
like
your
if in
food.
your bio it says I'm a really good cook, then that's a for sure flex.
that's all you need.
That is way more valuable than playing the violin.
But I'll tell you, okay, if you play an instrument, just put in the background. So like it's not a focal
Yeah,
point,
don't
but
hold
like
it.
just put the food that you made, and you're gonna get so many people wanting to take you out on a date.
Yeah, it's probably true, but they might ask you to cook for them on the date.
Later
Perfect.
and
Yeah.
play your own romantic music. Well, enjoy the podcast today. Thank you guys for listening. As always, text 877 to Radio U if you want us to cover something for tomorrow's podcast.
And we'll catch you next time.
Bye bye.
See you guys.
Don't say we didn't warn you. This is the worst of the riot.
It's time to say goodbye to a giant of the industry, of the Bed Bath & Beyond industry.
So are they all closing, like officially, or is it just bankruptcy, or what is it?
It's bankruptcy for Bed Bath & Beyond, and that means that they anticipate closing all of their stores, which includes not just Bed Bath & Beyond, but also apparently they own Bye Bye Baby.
Okay.
And that will close all of those stores by June 30th. It says, and then the very next sentence is, for now, all of their locations will remain open to serve customers. That's
sell
not very long.
everything?
Yeah, but that's not a very long time, though.
Well, they just probably want to, liquidate all this
Clear
stuff.
it all out.
But
so
will Bed Bath & Beyond still be an online retailer, or is it just completely gone? Sometimes there's layers to bankruptcies and closings.
I think it's one of those things where they're filing for bankruptcy. Somebody's has the option to buy up the brand if they want and try to salvage it in some way or another, which could mean an online version of Bed Bath & Beyond, or it could just mean that this is the last we'll ever see of Bed
That's
Bath
it.
& Beyond. And I don't know if it has the sway of some other brands like Toys R Us that managed to avoid being dead. You know what I
Well,
mean?
Even that, that's
kind of-
reincarnation. I mean, that's
it's a
not
little
doing.
sad.
It's not doing much. So they have a commitment from a financial company to allow it to keep operating during the bankruptcy process. But then at that point, that is where it all closes down.
So they can't just. Does this happen? Do they just say we're bankrupt and then everything instantly closes? Is that how it
this
normally
gives
works?
them enough time, I believe, to run while it is closing down. So it's
so-
not just instantaneous.
The real thing is now, if you got any Bed Bath & Beyond gift cards, go ahead and use those quickly.
I never would go there, except every so often you'd have to get like a wedding gift or something. And that
And you
was
do-
the only place if people would register.
That's true.
That was the only time.
for a long time. Yeah, that's so. What if you had a wedding registry there and you're not getting married until after
I
they
don't
close?
think anybody's been doing anything there anytime soon.
Apparently not enough people. You have any? Is that your Bed Bath & Beyond memory?
I think
of
that was
wedding
it.
registries?
My mom used to always. I think my mom liked going.
Yeah.
Because I remember something about like she always got a coupon.
Oh, yeah?
And I remember I had to get a wedding gift for someone. She's like, "Wait, I have a coupon." So I think that's all I remember.
That is so similar to me that it's like a store for your mom.
Yes.
But now even your mom doesn't want to go.
No, they don't.
I don't think I'm trying to recall if I've ever gone into Bed Bath & Beyond without my mom being present.
Probably not.
And even then, a lot of times I would wait in the car.
So they blame the downfall, not only, of course, obviously, Amazon as being the main one, but they say for going into stores, Target and Walmart, it just can't compete.
I blame our moms.
Yeah, your
They
mom.
stopped going.
Ask your mom and say,
Yeah.
hey, where does your mom go now? And that is part of the reason why this is closing.
Yeah,
So
well-
it has until June 30th when all the stores will close.
Well, the end of an era. You want to go in one more time for old time's sake?
Is your mom here?
Yeah, maybe she wants to. I mean,
Oh,
you
you
want
can
to
take
talk
your
about.
mom. How does this sound for a day? You take your mom for lunch.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then you go to Bed Bath & Beyond.
And you want to talk about coupons. Everything in there will be 70% off at least.
She's
Everything
gonna love
must
it.
go.
She's going to love it.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
I'm going to give you each one guess for which generation has been named the worst generation to work with by managers. You get to guess in 3, 2, 1.
The current generation.
What does that mean?
Well, what would it be now? What is the recent?
What's the youngest one?
What's the
Because
youngest
old
one?
people like to complain about young people.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
So it'd be that one probably.
I thought you guys would just know it's Gen Z.
Okay. Well,
Gen Z is the youngest generation, and everybody hates them.
Everybody
Everybody hates us.
even everybody within the generation hates
I guess,
themselves.
maybe a little bit. This is a survey of 1,344 people with managerial positions currently, and 79% of those in as a manager right now say that Gen Z is the most difficult generation to work with at the workplace.
This is what's key. If you want to really have an opportunity to jump over everybody at workplaces,
Mm-hmm.
listen to the list of what they find difficult and don't be difficult with that. And then they'll love you.
So
and
we're
they'll
just supposed to
promote you.
kowtow to our managers. Is that
In
what
the
you're saying?
beginning, yes.
So what is it that makes Gen Z so difficult? The top thing, according to this survey, is a lack of technological skills.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Then
thought
why
it
are
would-
you hiring all of us to do social media for you? That's crazy.
I see what you're saying there, too.
Yeah, that was the top one. That was almost 40% of the managers said that
But
Gen
we can
Z.
fix everything.
Yeah, that's right. We just give us a computer. We'll just figure it out.
But I guess if you want to, do something that's an old style of technology, we don't know that.
Then next in a tie, you have the 4-way of lack of effort, lack of motivation, lack of productivity, and easily distracted. That's harsh.
That is a lot right there.
That's harsh, but what do you think about this, though? Do you think that when, what was it before Gen Z, millennials?
Mm-hmm.
Like Gen Z right now, still, they consider it under the age of 26.
Yeah.
Isn't every generation not motivated, doesn't put in a lot of effort, not very productive, and easily distracted when you're 24 years old? Everybody's like that.
And the one after Gen Z, it'll be the same thing, too.
That's
It'll just
right.
be probably even worse.
So that's just something that comes with being under 26, I would say. Now this, I've got a couple things here. One, to be charitable to Gen Z. I guess I kind of just was. But also to be charitable is they point out that for most, if you're in Gen Z, so you're under 26, most of your working life has been post like COVID and then thereafter. So a whole lot more remote work, which might be preferable to work from home. That also creates a lot of challenges that you don't get when you go and work hands-on and learn some places hands-on, which could contribute, I think, to the technological thing for sure.
It could. Well, for the next one, poor communication skills, easily offended. That's every generation. A lack of drive, Google Drive, no. Dishonest and entitlement. So that's your list.
I think that applies to everybody.
I know a lot of this could be any generation.
Yeah, why don't you survey Gen Z about boomers and whatever is before, all the people that are ahead of them and see how they feel about it.
Isaiah, do you think what's the worst on the list?
The worst one?
Yeah. Not like the top one, not the one that people like managers don't like the most, but what do we think is the worst on the list?
The worst to deal with?
Yeah.
I think the worst to deal with, probably easily offended.
Easily offended?
Yeah.
Because if you don't do any work, I don't really care what you do at work-wise. But if I can't even talk to you, then that's when you get really annoying.
All right, there we go.
Well, there you have it.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
A plane from Columbus to Phoenix was making a flight yesterday morning, and it was forced to make an emergency landing short after takeoff. Have you guys seen the video of this?
Is that the one plane that had the engine on fire?
Yeah.
Or the wing part of it?
One of the engines caught fire. And so what's really wild is there's a video of it one of the passengers took from their window where they can see the wing, and you can see the engine on the wing shooting out flames every like 3 seconds or whatever.
That'll scare you.
Yeah, it's real frightening to see. So they wound up, that happened very shortly after takeoff. So they were leaving from Columbus, got up into the air, and turned right back around and landed in Columbus. Turns out one of the passengers and then said they saw this happen, and then the pilots and then later mechanics, after they were able to investigate, confirmed that a flock of geese flew into the engine.
Poor geese. What a way to go. That's not what you want.
Yeah, but I mean...
You know, like, have you ever had an animal bump your car and you thought, I wonder if they lived? You know, like they scurried off. I don't think the geese made
did not
it.
make
They didn't make it,
Is
no.
that blood on the wing?
Wait, where are you seeing that?
Look at the picture.
Well, it does look like
That's
that, doesn't it?
blood.
No!
It's either like whatever they use to spray the flames and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it looks like
Dang.
geese blood.
That means that somebody, like, there's just, like, dead geese falling from the sky.
I don't think it was hard for them to confirm if it was the flock of geese,
Yeah,
too.
but I don't want to say... I'm just going to say it. Don't the geese kind of deserve it?
Why?
It's a big sky. How do you fly into a plane?
It's their sky.
The plane sky. The plane owns it. It won the battle.
They said they stuck a flock of geese, and then the engine started making a real loud clonk, clonk, clonk noise, and then they turned the engine...
That was the geese honking their last honks.
That was it. They turned the engine off and then turned around and went back to the airport.
It's surprising that a plane can't get through a flock of geese, though. Like, you're able to fly like hundreds and hundreds of miles through the air. You have this humongous engine, yet if a flock of geese hits you, you are going down.
It can go through like lightning storms and stuff
exactly.
like that, high winds.
Bird strikes are more common than you think it is.
You think the guy...
And isn't that a gaggle of geese? Isn't that what you call a flock
gaggle.
of geese?
If you can't get through
That's
a
right.
gaggle, then is this really even important, you know?
Yeah.
If you can't make it that way.
It sounds so much worse when you actually say it was a gaggle of geese.
A
instead of
gaggle, it
flock.
sounds even wimpier. Like, the plane can't fly through a gaggle.
What did you expect us to do? We flew into a gaggle. I don't know what it's supposed to... What you expect this plane to do.
You would think the engine would just, like, incinerate them. It's so big and strong.
I mean,
but
it definitely
apparently not.
did.
It did.
But you couldn't get through it for real?
They just couldn't put the fire out.
I mean, maybe it would have been okay, but you know what? I feel like I was thinking this when you see the video of the plane's wing shooting out fire like that. Normally, like if a plane takes off and then lands right away, the passengers might be like, "Oh, come on!" I think in this case they probably cheered and were happy to be back on the ground.
Well, you're just thankful that it was close enough to where you took off from, because otherwise you have to land at a different airport.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that long flight without checking something.
Yeah,
so
for
I think
sure.
they had to get another plane.
Yeah.
So they had to go through all that.
Do you think this is what happened with Sully, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Where he landed in the Hudson River?
Yeah.
You think the pilot started thinking that as soon as
Like he's going to be a hero?
He's like, Tom Hanks is going to be in a movie about me.
You just re-landed at the airport, but it's still...
He did the same thing, though.
Still very safe.
He didn't land it in the river. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he did even better. He landed it where it's supposed to go.
He made it back, and then everybody involved obviously congratulated for making it a safe situation after the
I guess
geese.
that's a reward all its own.
Hudson, Nikki, The Riot on Radio U.
I have a survey here that says that one way to make yourself more attractive is to play an instrument, to learn how to play an instrument.
Ooh.
Yeah, people really think that playing an instrument improves attractiveness. And in fact, I have a ranking of the instruments that are considered the sexiest to play according to a survey.
Well,
do you have an idea? Okay, let's do it this way. Let's say you're scrolling through Tinder.
Yeah.
And you see people, and like every picture is somebody with a different various instrument.
Yeah. What would be...
Which one is the sexiest? Which one are you most likely to swipe right on?
Well, if you're a vocalist, that's a shame. So
yeah, you can't really show that off,
really
right?
show that off. I guess either a drummer or a guitarist.
Drummer, interesting choice.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't know. I mean, usually they're pretty fit, with all the drumming and stuff. And I don't know, just it's an active part of the band.
Yeah. I don't know about the fit part, but I do think that like the drummer always seems to have a different attitude,
Yeah.
Like he's the fun guy of the band, I think. Like just fun, rolls with the punches type guy. usually. What about you, Isaiah? And this will be interesting because you're thinking it from like you're looking at ladies playing instruments.
I think
that definitely changes things, don't you think?
I think if you got an instrument on your profile, I think that's kind of a red flag.
You
do.
That's just not really my style.
What if
Every
it wasn't
instrument though, or
I don't think there's an instrument that I could see on there.
What if
that
it
I would be
wasn't
like,
your
yeah.
main profile, but it was like a couple pictures in?
Yeah.
No.
Nope.
No?
Okay.
For me, it's just not my style. It's just not my style. I think for somebody else it could work, but for me, probably no.
There's not a single instrument you could see a gal in her picture and you'd be like, wow, that's impressive. Like,
No, because
pretty
I think
hot.
like at this point in my life, like I'm like 24 years old.
Yeah.
Like if your thing is like playing the flute, I don't see it as being a good match. That's your big plans for a Saturday night. We're probably not going to work out very well. If I had to go out on a limb and guess, nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying for me,
Okay. Can
it's
I tell
probably
you
not
though,
a great match.
as someone who played the flute like that, if you're going to meet a girl, that's probably the instrument she did play.
Yeah, probably.
Because everybody
Which
in
is
band-
I
okay.
got one other though.
Okay.
Violin.
Violin,
That's the
sure.
top lady instrument to me. And
Lady instrument.
So you're saying that if a girl had a violin on her Tinder profile, you'd be like, yeah.
No, that's not. No, I just think when I think of an instrument a lady would play, I'm thinking of a violin.
Oh, I went
is the
flute.
top one that
I
comes
went
to
flute.
mind. But I think you know what?
If we went on a date, I show up and she's like, "Would you like me to play the violin for you?" I'd be like, "No, I'd like
That's
to
a
leave."
few dates in, all right? That's
but
not the first date.
to me, if you're playing violin
she brings it
or,
with her.
Yes, it's
or
with
like
her.
the bassoon or something,
Yeah.
that signals to me that you're like pretty cultured and that you probably have things like you got things figured out a little bit.
If
you know, like
you're-
you're a little fancy.
If
and
you're
I like
a
that.
musician with some of those instruments, then you're probably out of the league of some people
That's right.
because you know it's especially if you're in like classical music.
That's what I'm thinking. If I know a lady that's playing again like the bassoon, she's not gonna date me. Just because I've seen Tar doesn't mean that we're gonna have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
But it is pretty cool to me. You want to know the actual list?
What's the actual list
Guitar was number 1, 26%.
for the sexiest instrument if
Yeah.
you're trying to get a date?
Number 2, and this is right. I laughed out loud when I saw this, but it's so true. Saxophone was a close second, 25%.
Got a
Sure.
sexy sound.
I don't know if I saw a lady playing the saxophone, it'd be like, that's cool. But if I think of a guy playing the saxophone, that's a sexy guy. You can't play the saxophone and not be sexy. Look at
gotta-
Kenny G.
You got to feel.
Uh-huh.
You got to look.
Yeah, and then piano, violin.
Oh yeah, piano.
Yeah.
We
Forgot
love a good
about
man.
that.
Who can
Piano-
play the piano.
That kind of is a good meet in the middle one.
I
too,
think
right?
so.
Yeah.
Unless you're being
Judged by Isaiah.
judged by he's not even
I
gonna
think
admit
it's
that.
cool that you can do it. I just don't
said-
think it's for me.
If you're playing the
There's
flute
no
on a
saving
Saturday
you on
night, I
this.
don't think we're a good match.
I just don't think we are. I
don't
don't think we are.
I don't think anybody plays the flute on
You're
a
gonna-
Saturday night.
There is somebody, and that if it's in their Tinder profile, they for sure play it on Saturday nights.
You're gonna run out of options.
Yeah.
The Riot with Hudson and Nikki on Radio U.
The NBA playoffs continued. It was a tough weekend for our boy over here, Isaiah.
I wouldn't say so.
You don't think so? The Cavs lost twice since we last talked, I believe.
Are they still in? Or?
they're still playing.
They're still
Okay.
around.
He's not panicking yet.
No.
They're okay. I mean, only like since 2000, 7 teams have came back from this deficit, but
You're
we
not
could do it, I
Less
guess.
than once a year it happened. Once every other year. So maybe this could be the year.
Once every 3 years.
He's
Yeah.
not giving up yet.
But the Cavs did lose to the Knicks yesterday. They're now down 3-1. So that's a tough spot for them. Do you really believe though? Based
Hudson-
off of the way the games have gone?
Hudson, we haven't even scored 100 points
Oh no.
in the past 2 games.
Yeah.
You think I think we're going to win a game? We scored 76 points 2 nights ago. What do you think I think? We're
He's
probably not
not
going to win.
giving up. Please do not.
Don't they call it Believe Land?
Hudson, we scored 76 points 2 nights ago. Yesterday, our best player scored 9 points.
That happens from time to time.
Does it happen 2 games in a row? We scored 76th and 87. We're an NBA team. What are you, crazy?
Well,
I didn't think
okay,
I
so
was going to
that's
be more
hard.
optimistic than you about
We're down
about the
3-1, and
Cavs.
Donovan Mitchell Mitchell and Darius Garland, our two best players, have combined for like 66 points in the past 3 games.
A lot of people are listening and going, "Is that good?"
No, that's bad. That's terribly bad.
It's not going well.
No, it doesn't
it's
sound
not
good.
Averaging like 10 points per game.
enough. So even though they're losing and not even scoring enough.
Yeah, so that's bad for them. Also, this is an interesting one. Tonight, you have the Heat against the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
The Heat are up 2-1, and Giannis is still questionable for tonight's game. Obviously, the Bucks' best player and possibly the best player in the entire league. So the Bucks could be down 3-1 after tonight. That would be a huge shakeup to the playoffs if the Bucks were to go out. And I guess to again frame it through the Cavs' eyes, really an insult to injury that the Cavs could have had the Heat in the second round if they just could have gotten through the first round.
Might have been. Aww.
Yeah. But in another story tonight, Lakers against the Grizzlies. The Lakers have a chance to go up 3-1.
Gosh, no offense, guys, but like we're not even done with this first part
first
of the
round.
playoffs.
Nope.
These things are long.
Actually, I do take offense to that.
It's just, when does it end?
Oh, we got months.
I think we've been
Nikki.
through this. It's like June.
I know, but I
A
mean,
month is now. April, May, June. Yeah, we got 2 months left.
so like every time the teams play, they have to get the best out of 7 for each thing going into it.
Yes. that is
Every
correct.
time.
All right.
And so tonight, it'll just be another exciting twist in the turn of the path of the NBA playoffs.
I guess it is kind of better if you get more games out of it, because if a team just keeps beating, then you don't have as many games in the series. So
Yeah, but you
don't
know
get
it's
as
no
much
fun to watch your team lose 4 games in a row.
rather
Yeah.
quickly.
Even though
don't
you
keep
do
bringing
get
up the
4
Cavs.
chances, it is a whole lot less fun.
Okay, so tonight is the Lakers and the Grizzlies.
Grizzlies.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's the one to watch.
So
Yeah.
you can go watch LeBron tonight.
Yeah, I'm taking the Grizzlies, by the way. If anybody-
Okay.
You think they're gonna win?
Yeah, they can't. They also played really bad in Game 3, which means they got it. They can't be that bad.
You
in
know,
Game
that's
4.
what I said. Oddly enough, I said Game 3 we were terrible. Game 4 we've got to figure it out.
Yeah, they can't
We
possibly be that
didn't.
bad 2 games in a row.
Okay,
We were.
well,
We were.
Grizzlies it is then.
Thanks for watching the worst of the riot. Since you made it this far, you might as well like, subscribe, and check out riot.radiou.com for even more riot.